Hello everyone, my name is Alexander Quang, and for my final project, I will be giving a rundown of the 2013 film The Flu. This film is about the sudden outbreak of a mutation of the H5N1 virus that is transmissible by air and kills its victims in 36 hours. The virus spreads across one of the largest districts in Seoul, Bundang. The film was directed by Kim Sung-soo. Sorry for my pronunciation, I'm not fluent in Korean. Before directing The Flu, his past works that he is known for includes Beat, an action film from 1997, Musa, an action drama film from 2001, and The Red List, a fantasy film from 2006. The Flu was officially released on August 14, 2013 with a running time of 121 minutes. The movie stars include Soo-ae, Jang Hyuk, and Park Min-ha. Soo-ae stars as Kim In-hae, a doctor and a single mother. Jang Hyuk stars as Kang Ji-gu, an emergency response worker. Park Min-ha stars as Kim Mi-ru, the young daughter of Kim In-hae. In the beginning of the movie, there are two different storylines that occur before the outbreak of the virus. First, we see a group of illegal immigrants who are packed in a shipping container and are sent to Seoul. 9 days later, the two smugglers, Byung-woo and Byung-ki, receive the shipping container and open it to find out that the group of illegal immigrants in the container have died from an unknown illness. They find and capture the only survivor in the crate, Monsai. They make sure to record a video on their phone to send to the boss to notify of this discovery. We're running errands during the day. We see that one of the brothers, Bing-woo, started getting sick in the truck, and Mansai, left in the truck bed, takes advantage of the situation and escapes from the two. The two brothers go to the pharmacy to get medicine to help relieve Bung-yu's cough, but by going out without a mask on, he starts heavily coughing around 7 people in the pharmacy, exposing them to the virus. His symptoms get worse, where he's hospitalized and eventually passes away, where a brother causes a ruckus trying to save him, causing more people to be exposed. During that same time period where all that happened, our second storyline is presented, where we get to see Kang Ji-gu and Kim Min-ha's first interaction. We see that Kim Min-ha has crashed her car into a construction zone and has gotten stuck on debris halfway into a deep pit. She is rescued by Kang Ji-gu, where he saves her just in time before the car slides off the debris and descends all the way to the bottom. Later in the night they meet again, where she is asking him for a favor. She needs him to go back down into the pit to retrieve her purse, which contains highly valuable information that she needs for her job. He refuses at first, but caves in and retrieves it the next day. While he has the purse, someone is calling the phone inside, and he answers and hears it is her daughter Kim Mi-ru. He meets up with Mi-ru to return In-ha's purse and gives her his business card. Later we get to see Monsai again, where he's hiding in a parking garage, and Mi-ru accidentally finds him. In doing so, she almost gets run over by a car and is saved by Monsai, but it gets exposed to the virus in the process. Now this is where both of the storylines start connecting together now. And the next day, more and more people are showing symptoms where the doctors realize that their new virus has entered the city and they need to shut it down. At this point, it is too late, where chaos happens and everyone is out to save themselves. The government decides to create an emergency order where everyone in Bunang should be placed in a quarantine camps. They do examinations on everyone in Bunang, where they create an isolation zone for citizens who are already infected or have related symptoms. In-hae manages to sneak her daughter in through with her, but she starts to see that symptoms are showing up. They eventually find Monsai, and Kim In-hae secretly does a transfusion to inject antibodies to save her daughter. There's uneasement in the camp due to a communications blackout, difficult living conditions, confrontations with gas mask wearing guards, sporadic gunfire meant to keep birds from spreading the disease, and rumors that infected people are being killed. The government is keeping the citizens in the unknown, causing the citizens to riot in the camp, creating chaos and destruction. After these events occur, they found out that Miu has recovered with the antibodies, meaning that she can be able to create a vaccine. The people in the camp try to protect her at all costs, forcing the government's hand and allowing them to send her to Seoul to create a vaccine. So obviously the historical context of this movie can be related to the current pandemic we're in, COVID-19, as I found that this was a really interesting film and one that, that obviously hits close to home while currently living during a pandemic, as the past year and a half will go down in history forever. Living through a pandemic really puts some of these movies in perspective, especially this one, where obviously COVID didn't have a 100% mortality rate, nor it was an airborne illness, but there are definitely still a lot of comparable things. We got to experience how each country was dealing with the COVID-19 outburst, as I'll use the United States and South Korea as an example with their respective CDC and KDCA that they both use for guidelines. As we look at this chart, you can see that both countries reported their first case of COVID-19 on the same day, but South Korea avoided infections and deaths early into the pandemic thanks to their K-quarantine strategy that they implemented early February. The strategy they used was to limit the spread of the virus, which included a quarantine system, outreach campaigns, testing, and aggressive contact tracing. The United States didn't enact these similar strategies until late March, which leads us to how on this graph we can see that the total deaths spiked very fast early into the pandemic, and we can see in this movie how we can relate to the history of COVID. What stood out to me was how quickly everything shifted from everyday normal society to a catastrophic state where people were in panic, and how they were acting out in violence, where in the movie they were looting markets in preparation for the shutdown. I was particularly drawn to this as there's a lot of parallelism between the scenes in the movie and the initial events of the COVID-19 pandemic, where there was a lot of panic happening with the initial cases being announced, and there was a lot of spread of different types of information about the transmission, where the CDC wasn't sure about what to do, and they didn't have a plan yet. As a result, on the news, we saw many stories about stores being looted, causing a shortage of toilet paper, sanitation materials, and other essential items. This film overall accentuates the waves of panic that takes over for physicians, government officials, and the general public. This concludes my review of The Flu. I hope you enjoy watching and hope to learn a lot as I did from myself. Thank you.